Jeff Haden's The Motivation Myth starts with a game-changing idea. Motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. This single shift in perspective has transformed lives, and it might just transform yours too. So welcome to the Wise Words Project, where we distill the best ideas from life-changing books and make them actionable for you. Today, I'm going to be diving into the motivation myth to explore why motivation doesn't drive success, it follows it. If you learned something valuable in this video, please hit like and subscribe. It helps us continue creating content that inspires action. Let's get started with chapter 1. So chapter 1 is motivation is not the spark. So what if motivation isn't what gets you started? Well, what comes after? Chapter 1 flips the script on a common belief, showing that action creates motivation, not the other way round. But if motivation doesn't start the journey, how does it develop? So let's break down the key ideas from this chapter. So number 1 is motivation is the outcome of action. Most of us get it backwards. We think motivation is the spark that fuels our progress. But Haden argues it's the result. Taking action, even the smallest step, generates the momentum we need to keep going. Think about a task you've been putting off, like organizing your closet or starting a workout. The hardest part is getting started, right? Once you do, you feel lighter, more focused, and motivated to finish. The act of doing generates the energy to keep going. Number 2, action creates momentum. Starting is where the magic happens. Even the tiniest step, a single email, a 5-minute walk, breaks the inertia and clears the mental clutter holding you back. Have you ever delayed a task for weeks only to realize that wasn't so bad? Well, that's the power of action. It simplifies everything. The third idea is small wins build big results. Every small success gives your brain a little dopamine hit. It feels good and that keeps you going. Over time, these small wins compound into real momentum. Picture a snowball rolling downhill, where every turn it gathers speed and size. That's what small wins do. They create unstoppable progress. Now, after hearing these ideas, you might be wondering, how do you start though when your motivation is 0? So here's how you take action even when the motivation is nowhere to be found. 1, you need to take the easiest step first. Start small. If writing a novel feels impossible, write a sentence. If exercising feels daunting, take a 5-minute walk. For example, James Clear calls this the 2-minute rule. Scale your goal down to something as so simple you can't help but do it. Once you start, you'll likely keep going. 2, celebrate progress, not perfection. We need to let go of the need for things to be perfect. Progress is what matters, no matter how messy. So can you focus on one small win today and celebrate that? Remember, the imperfect effort beats no effort every time. 3, build a routine to make it automatic. Routines eliminate decision fatigue. When you know what, when, and where you'll take an action, it feels effortless. So with all this being said now, we need to be aware of a few things, and one of them being shortcuts. So you need to not fall for shortcuts. Quick fixes might save time now, but they rarely lead to lasting success. Confidence comes from doing the work, not skipping it. Shortcuts leave you unprepared and regretful. I mean, have you ever taken a shortcut only to regret it later? Real success is earned, and it feels so much better when you know you've done the work. So time to recap. Here's a reminder of what chapter 1 teaches us. 1, motivation follows action. It doesn't start it. 2, small steps create momentum, and small wins keep you moving forward. 3, progress, not perfection, is the goal. And lastly, shortcuts, they're not worth it. Doing the work builds real confidence. So now that you know how to generate motivation, let's explore something surprising. Could focusing too much on your goals actually hurt your success? Well, that's the question chapter 2 answers. So, chapter 2, the greater your focus, the lower your chance of success. At first glance, focus seems like the ultimate key to success. But chapter 2 reveals a counterintuitive truth. Obsessing over your goals can create frustration and burnout. So what's the real secret? Well, focusing on the process, the daily actions that guarantee progress. So let's unpack why shifting from goals to processes change everything. Here are the key ideas from chapter 2. Number 1, the problem of goals. Focusing too hard on the end result can feel overwhelming, especially when the gap between where you are and where you want to be seems impossible to cross. Think about training for a marathon, for example. If all you focus on is running 26.2 miles, it might feel daunting. But if you focus on today's 3-mile run, suddenly it feels more manageable. I mean, have you ever felt paralyzed by the sheer size of a goal? Well, that's what happens when the finish line feels too far away. Idea number 2 is turn goals into processes. Goals give you direction, but processes are what drive success. By focusing on daily actions, you remove the pressure of the outcome and make progress inevitable. For example, Arnold Schwarzenegger didn't wake up every day obsessing over winning Mr. Olympia. Instead, he focused on showing up to the gym and nailing each rep. He trusted the process to lead him to his goal. 3, Forget about perfect goals. So while SMART goals, which is specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound, are popular, they can sometimes limit ambition. Haden suggests focusing on meaningful goals and letting the process take over. So how do we refocus and then make progress? Well, here's how to shift your focus from overwhelming goals to actionable processes. Firstly, we need to create a clear, actionable process. So we need to break your goal into manageable steps. For example, instead of write a book, you could commit to writing 500 words a day. Then number 2, we need to celebrate progress over perfection. Focus on the wins you achieve each day, not just a distant finish line. It's those small wins that keep you going. 3, use feedback as fuel. Positive feedback, whether from yourself or others, reinforces your progress and builds your confidence. Even tracking your own improvement is a powerful motivator. So let's recap chapter 2. Here's what we've learned. 1, focusing too hard on goals creates overwhelm. 2, shifting your attention to processes makes progress predictable and manageable. 3, forget perfection. Celebrate daily wins. Those small steps build big results. So now that you know how to refocus your efforts, here's the next question. How do you design a process that guarantees success? Well, that's what chapter 3 is all about. Chapter 3, your goal must always choose your process. So goals inspire us, but inspiration alone won't get the job done. Chapter 3 teaches us that the real purpose of a goal is to guide your process, the step-by-step system that makes the success inevitable. So how do you even design a process that aligns with your goals and ensures this progress? Well, let's break it down. So here are the key ideas from chapter 3. Goals set the direction, but processes drive success. Think of the goal as the destination on a map. It shows you where you want to go, whereas the process is the step-by-step path that gets you there. So for example, if your goal is to run a marathon, the process involves creating a training plan, running shorter distances, gradually increasing mileage, and then resting strategically. So what's one big goal you've set yourself? Do you have a clear roadmap yet to reach it? Idea number 2, consistency beats perfection. The key to success isn't doing things perfectly, it's doing them consistently. Processes make progress automatic and repeatable. So, example, instead of aiming to write an entire book in 1 month, as we mentioned before, you need to write 500 words every morning because it's less daunting and it builds daily momentum. Idea number 3, processes can be refined over time. So your process doesn't have to be perfect from the start. Start with a reasonable plan and adapt it as you learn. Even the most successful people tweak their systems as they grow. They focus on starting and then they refine along the way. So now let's talk about the practical application of how to build a process that works. So here's how to build a process that aligns with your goals and sets you up for success. 1, set a clear goal. Define exactly what you want to achieve instead of saying, I want to get fit. Set a measurable goal, like completing a Spartan race. 2, choose a starting plan. Don't overcomplicate it. Pick a simple, proven method to begin, like a beginner's marathon training schedule or daily writing habit. 3, customize for your life. Tailor the process to fit your schedule. Replace the vague plans like exercise regularly with specific actions, such as run every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m. 4, break it down into daily actions. Divide your goal into manageable steps and track your progress using a checklist or calendar. 5, adapt as needed. Life happens when challenges arise. Tweak your process instead of abandoning it. If something disrupts your routine, adjust and keep moving forward. Progress is what matters most. So here's a recap of chapter 3. 1, goals set the direction, but processes make success achievable. 2, consistency matters more than perfection. 3, start with a simple plan, adapt as you go, and focus on progress every day. As you can see, all of these chapters are re-hitting the same points again and again. It's all about consistency. So now that you've designed a process for your goals, here's the next question. How do you balance success across different areas of your life? Well, chapter 4 shows us the power of serial achievement and why it might just be the key to lasting happiness. So chapter 4, happiness comes to serial achievers. What if true happiness doesn't come from mastering just one thing, but from excelling at different goals throughout your life? Well, chapter 4 introduces us to the idea of serial achievement. You can focus on one major goal at a time to create fulfillment, avoid burnout, and then throughout your life pursue a range of passions. So how do serial achievers balance their ambitions and make progress without feeling overwhelmed? Well, let's explore how this approach works. So the key ideas from this chapter are: 1, the limits of over-specialization. Spending all your energy mastering one skill or chasing one goal can create imbalance. The popular 10,000 hour rule suggests that mastery requires years of dedicated practice, but for most people, that's neither practical nor fulfilling. But the good news? You don't need to be world-class at everything to excel. Consistent improvement can help you outperform 95% of people in any field. 2, Serial achievement prevents burnout. So instead of juggling multiple big goals at once, serial achievers dedicate their focus to one major goal at a time. They then tend to spend 5 to 7 years mastering it before moving on to the next. So imagine someone who excels in their career, later writes a book, and eventually becomes a public speaker. Each accomplishment builds on the last, creating a rich and multi-dimensional life. 3. The power of and identity. Humans aren't meant to be defined by a single role. You can be a marketer and a musician, or a teacher and a marathoner. This and identity adds depth to your life and fuels personal growth. So when somebody asks you, what do you often feel boxed in by your answer? Imagine how much more fulfilling it would be to say, I'm an entrepreneur and an artist and a triathlete. So, how do we achieve this serial success? So to pursue serial achievement without feeling stretched too thin, here's how you can start. 1. Focus on one goal at a time. Prioritize one major goal and give it your full attention. This focus ensures meaningful progress without unnecessary distractions. Example, if you're starting a business and want to run a marathon, focus on the business first. Once it's stable, shift your energy to marathon training. 2. Set goals that eliminate regret. The biggest regret isn't failure, it's usually never trying. So pursue goals that align with your values and leave you feeling proud regardless of the outcome. So, what's one dream you've always wanted to chase? Imagine looking back, years from now. Would you regret not giving it a shot? 3. Build on each success. Every goal you achieve adds to your skills, confidence, and identity. Over time, this compounding effect makes future goals easier and more rewarding. Picture a ladder where every rung represents a past success. The higher you climb, the broader your perspective and the more capable you feel to take on new challenges. So, how can we then balance all these multiple passions? Well, number 1 is you've got to know your priorities. Success doesn't mean saying yes to everything. It's about aligning your goals with what matters most to you. If family time is a priority, make sure your career goals don't overshadow it. Balance is what makes success feel fulfilling. Number 2, Haden suggests choose goals that work on multiple levels. The best goals benefit more than one area of your life. For instance, training for a marathon improves health, builds discipline, and creates social connections. So when a goal touches different aspects of your life, it's easy to stay committed and find joy in the process. So let's recap what we've learned from chapter 4 about serial achievement. So 1 is focus on one major goal at a time to avoid burnout. Number 2 is pursue goals that align with your values and eliminate regret. 3 is each success will build momentum, creating a fulfilling and multi-dimensional life. So remember, you're not just defined by one role. Embracing multiple passions over time can lead to a richer, more balanced life. So now that you know how to balance success across different areas, let's talk about a powerful insight. What if achieving your goals didn't require extraordinary willpower? Well, chapter 5 reveals how to make success feel easier and why you might need less willpower than you think. Chapter 5. To gain incredible willpower, need less willpower. So what if the secret to achieving your biggest goals isn't about building endless willpower, but about needing less of it? Well, chapter 5 uncovers how small changes in your habits, environment, and mindset can make progress feel effortless without relying on sheer discipline. So how would you go about reducing your reliance on willpower while staying consistent? Well, let's dive in. So here are the key ideas from chapter 5. 1. Eliminate choices to reduce decision fatigue. So willpower is a limited resource and unnecessary decisions drain it. By simplifying your daily choices, you save mental energy for what truly matters. So, for example, you could turn off email notifications, plan your outfit the night before, or stick to a weekly meal plan. These small changes eliminate distractions and free up your focus. So how much time do you spend every day deciding what to wear, eat, or do next? Imagine how much smoother your day could be if you feel those decisions were already made. 2. Plan decisions in advance. So make important decisions when your mind is fresh and automate recurring ones to minimize effort. For example, decide your first task of the day before you finish work. That way, when you start the next morning, you can hit the ground running. And this isn't about micromanaging your life. It's about simplifying it so you can focus on what really matters. The third idea is tackle hard tasks first. Willpower is the strongest in the morning, so use this to your advantage to tackle your most challenging or meaningful tasks. So if you're working on a creative project, block out time early in the day to make progress before the distractions creep in. 4. Refuel regularly. Self-control requires energy. Hunger or fatigue can deplete it. So eat nutritious meals and snacks to keep your brain fueled. And don't wait until you're running on empty. A quick recharge can make all the difference in staying focused and motivated. 5. Remove temptations from your environment. So we need to design our environments to support our goals by making distractions harder to access. For example, if you're trying to cut down on screen time, charge your phone in another room. If healthier eating is your goal, keep junk food out of the house. So, what's one small change you can make to your environment today to reduce temptation and make progress easier? The secret to building habits. 1. Leverage long-term goal reminders. So we need to keep our goals visible to stay inspired. A vision board, a sticky note on your desk, or a daily reminder can reinforce why your effort matters. 2. As discussed many times before, we need to celebrate small wins. Acknowledge our progress, no matter how small. This builds a positive feedback loop that motivates you to keep going. Think of your journey like climbing a staircase. Each step may feel small, but every step upward brings you closer to your goal. And then 3, you've got to take productive breaks. So we need to use breaks to recharge without losing momentum. Organising your workspace, taking a short walk, or reflecting on your progress can leave you refreshed and ready to keep going. So let's recap chapter 5. First idea, reduce decision fatigue by simplifying and automating your choices. Second, tackle hard tasks when your energy is highest. Third, create an environment that supports your goals. Fourth, celebrate small wins and use productive breaks to stay motivated. Remember, the key here isn't to rely on superhuman willpower, it's to make success feel natural and effortless. Now that you know how to need less willpower, here's the next step. How do you turn small wins into unstoppable momentum? Well, chapter 6 reveals why success is a numbers game and how you can stack the odds in your favour. Chapter 6, why work smarter when you can work your number? So ever feel like success is just out of your reach? Well, chapter 6 flips the script, showing that success isn't about working harder or even smarter. It's about playing the numbers game. The more deliberate attempts you make, the higher your chances of success. Consistent effort isn't just a strategy, it's the foundation for achieving your goals. But how do you approach this numbers game effectively? And what does it really mean to work your number? Well, let's break it down. Here are the key ideas from chapter 6. Success is a numbers game. Great achievements often come from increasing your attempts. The more rolls of the dice you take, the greater your chances of hitting the target. Success often isn't just about skill, it's about repetition and persistence. So think about authors who submit dozens of manuscripts to publishers or entrepreneurs who pitch their ideas to countless investors. Every rejection brings them closer to the one yes they need to succeed. So what's one goal you've been hesitant to pursue because you're afraid of failing? Could trying just one more time change everything? So the second idea is reps, the framework for mastery. Daniel Core's reps method breaks down effective practice to 4 key elements. So the R of reps, reaching and repeating, push to the edge of your abilities, and repeat until you improve. The E in the reps, engagement. Make your practice meaningful and emotionally relevant. P in the reps, purposefulness. Align your efforts with the skill you want to improve. And the S in the reps, strong, speedy feedback. Seek immediate feedback to connect effort to results and refine your approach. This isn't about endless practice, it's about intentional targeted effort. When you practice deliberately, you improve faster and more effectively. 3. Breaking through a rep rut. Repetition is critical, but doing the same thing in the same way can create a plateau. So to keep improving, we've got a few strategies. 1. Slow down to identify inefficiencies. 2. The opposite, speed up to challenge your limits. Then 3. Break tasks into smaller pieces to master individual components. Number 4. Use different metrics to evaluate performance from different perspectives. Example, a musician mastering a difficult piece might slow it down to perfect their technique, then build it up to build confidence and muscle memory. However, there is a balance here between structure and autonomy. So number 1, structure ensures consistency. Having a clear framework minimizes wasted effort and makes progress automatic. Number 2, autonomy fuels innovation. Too much structure can stifle creativity, allowing flexibility within your system, encourages fresh ideas, and helps maintain engagement. Think of it like a recipe. You need structure to guide the process, but adding your own twist makes it uniquely yours. So let's recap chapter 6. Here's what we learned. Success is a numbers game. The more you try, the better your odds. Then number 2, effective practice combines repetition, engagement, and feedback. Number 3, breaking through plateaus requires creative adjustments like slowing down or trying new metrics. So now that you know how to master the numbers game, how do you find somebody who can push you beyond your limits and unlock your full potential? Well, chapter 7 is going to reveal why you don't just need a coach, you need a pro. So chapter 7, you don't need a coach, you need a pro. When it comes to achieving extraordinary results, having a coach might not be enough. Chapter 7 shows us that the real key to growth is finding a pro. Somebody who challenges you, raises the bar, and pushes you to accomplish what feels impossible. But what makes a pro different from a coach, and how do you find the right one? Well, let's break it down. Here are the key ideas from chapter 7. Number 1 is why you need a pro and not a coach. Well, a coach provides guidance and holds you accountable, but a pro pushes you beyond your comfort zone. Pros set high expectations, often higher than you set for yourself, and help you reach new heights. For example, think of any elite athlete. They don't just rely on coaching. They study and emulate the habits, mindset, and techniques of the other pros they aspire to become. So who's the pro you can learn from in your field? Somebody who's already achieved what you're striving for? Idea number 2, the sinking feeling of progress. Growth often feels uncomfortable. that knot in your stomach when you realize how much work lies ahead. It's not a sign to stop, it's a proof that you're pushing your limits. I mean, progress isn't supposed to feel easy. That discomfort means you're on the right path. 3. How to choose the right pro. So the pro you choose doesn't need to share your personality or style, they need to share your ambition. So you need to look for somebody whose achievements align with your goals, even if they challenge your natural tendencies. For example, if you're shy, follow a self-promoter. If you're disorganized, study somebody meticulous. These contrasts stretch your abilities and unlock growth in unexpected ways. This all being said, how do you then fit in and thrive? So once you've found the right pro, how do you earn their respect and maximize your learning? Well, here's the step-by-step guide from Jeff. Number 1, start quietly and do the work. You need to show up consistently, stay humble, and focus on delivering results. Actions speak louder than words. Number 2, volunteer for tough jobs. Taking on the less glamorous tasks shows dedication and gives you a chance to observe and learn from others. So, for example, if you're new to a team, offer to handle the behind-the-scenes work. Over time, this builds trust and proves your commitment. 3, ask for small, actionable help. So you can start by requesting simple advice or quick guidance. This builds rapport without demanding too much from your mentor or team. So what's the one small piece of advice you could ask from someone who you admire? Sometimes the smallest questions lead to the biggest breakthroughs. Number 4 then is offer meaningful assistance. So look for moments when others are struggling and step in to provide specific, actionable help. This not only builds trust, but also proves your value. And then 5, help others feel they belong. Success isn't just about fitting in, it's about making others feel included, acknowledging their contributions and build genuine relationships. So let's recap chapter 7. We covered a pro pushes you to grow by setting high standards and challenging your limits. We then covered discomfort as a sign of progress, so we need to embrace it. Then to earn respect, start quietly, take on tough tasks, and offer meaningful help. Followed by building strong relationships is as important as learning from the pros and expertise. So now that you know how to find a pro and push your limits, what's the next step? Well, chapter 8 explores the counterintuitive secret to success, doing less, but better, to unlock your full potential. Chapter 8, do more by doing less. So in a world that rewards busyness, the secret to true success might surprise you. It's doing less. Chapter 8 reveals how focusing on fewer, higher impact actions allows you to stand out, master your craft, and unlock new opportunities. But how do you decide what to cut and what to focus on? Well, let's break it down. Here are the key ideas. Excellence itself creates opportunity. The fastest way to open doors is to excel at what you're doing. By narrowing your focus, you can deliver exceptional results and make you feel indispensable. For example, if you work in customer service, aim to become the best at solving problems and building relationships. Your reputation for excellence would naturally create new opportunities. So where's one area where you could go from good enough to truly outstanding? And how might that shift and create you new possibilities? Number 2, the power of saying no. Every yes comes with a cost, your time, energy, and focus. Saying no to the low priority tasks or distractions creates space to focus on what truly matters. So before agreeing to a new product, ask yourself, will this benefit me? And is this more important than what I'm already doing? If not, it's okay to say no. The 3 is eliminate one permission. People treat you based on the boundaries you set. If you're always available for interruptions, others will expect constant access to your time. So you need to retrain those around you by setting clear boundaries. For example, let your team know you respond to non-urgent messages only during certain hours. Number 4, prune your to-do list. A long to-do list can feel overwhelming and counterproductive. Instead, create 2 lists. A must-to-do list with 2 to 3 high-priority tasks for the day, and then a wish list for lower-priority items to revisit later. This approach keeps you focused on what matters most while preserving space for the creative ideas or long-term projects. So, the formula for doing less but better. 1. Identify high-impact activities. Focus on tasks that deliver the most value or progress. These are the ones that align with your goals or have a compounding effect over time. Then we need to 2. Simplify our environment. So remove distractions and unnecessary tools that drain energy. Streamlining your workspace or cutting down on multitasking can dramatically improve focus and productivity. 3. Commit to consistent excellence. Success comes from showing up daily and delivering your best on the tasks that matter the most. So what's one thing you could do less of today to focus on your biggest priorities? So let's recap chapter 8. We need to focus on fewer, high-impact actions by creating it, and then create excellence and open new doors. Then we covered saying no to distractions frees up time and energy for what matters. We talked about simplifying our environments and commitments boosts productivity and clarity. So therefore we now know success isn't about doing everything, it's about doing the right things exceptionally well. So now that you know how to focus your energy, where it counts, here's the final question. What separates dreamers from doers? Well, chapter 9 uncovers the ultimate key to turning plans into reality and why action is the bottom line. So chapter 9, the bottom line. Every big dream starts with inspiration. But what separates dreamers from doers? Well, chapter 9 delivers the ultimate truth. Success isn't about talent or luck. It's about having a plan and the courage to act. No matter where you start, action is always the bottom line. So how do you turn your plans into reality and make progress feel inevitable? Well, let's just look at the final insights then. So the key ideas from chapter 9. So dreams vs plans. Everybody starts at the bottom, unsure, hesitant, and full of doubt. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is action. A dream without a plan remains a wish, but even the smallest action turns potential into momentum. So think about a project or a side hustle you've always dreamed about. The dream might be exciting, but until you take that first step, like writing a draft, building a prototype, or reaching out to a mentor, it's just an idea waiting to happen. So what's the one step you could take today to turn a dream into a plan? The second idea, start before you're ready. Waiting for the perfect moment guarantees one thing, inaction. And real success begins by starting where you are and figuring out things as you go along. Every successful person has felt fear and uncertainty. The difference is they didn't let it stop them. They took the leap and adapted along the way. Number 3, a strong theme throughout the book, the power of consistent effort. Success isn't built on grand gestures or bursts of motivation. It's the result of small deliberate steps repeated over time. Consistency creates momentum, and momentum compounds into results. It's time to ask yourself the one question that provides clarity, which is, will this help me reach my goal? So when faced with a decision, this simple question cuts through the uncertainty and aligns your actions with your long-term vision. If your goal is to improve your fitness, ask, will skipping this workout bring me closer to my goal? The answer instantly clarifies what you should do. So what's one area in your life where asking this question could simplify your choices and create clarity? So here we have it, finishing chapter 9. We've just covered dreams become reality when you pair them with a plan and take action. Number 2 was don't wait for perfection, start where you are and adapt as you go. Then we covered consistent effort, no matter how small, creates unstoppable momentum. And then lastly, the simple question, will this help me reach my goal, provides clarity and focus in any decision. So the difference between dreamers and achievers isn't talent or luck, it's just action. So there you have it, Jeff Haden's The Motivation Myth. It reminds us that success isn't about waiting for motivation, it's about taking action, building momentum, and letting progress inspire you to keep going. So if you found value in this video, don't keep it to yourself. Like and share and subscribe to support the Wise Words Project. And remember, your dreams are closer than you think. They start just with a single step. Thank you for listening and watching.